in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't check.
Welcome. Welcome to the Occult Rejects. This episode, we got a bunch of us here, and we are waiting on Lisa to join us, and she'll be here eventually. And we are talking about Count of Saint Germain. We were supposed to have a different guest tonight, which we will be rescheduling. And Jules came up with the idea of talking about Saint Germain. I didn't really know much about him. Headless does. Lisa knew a little bit, and fortunately, I found out not too long ago that Ricardo seems to know a decent amount of them and has some other stuff to share as well. So in this episode, hopefully, things will go smooth. I have a little bit of like a background on the guy, and we could lightly go over that, and everybody else can fill in as we're going. And then Ricardo could also take it over with some of the stuff that he has. Hopefully, I don't drag it out for too long. But before we get into it, I was going to have, because he probably knows him a little bit better than me, I was going to have Ricardo just do like a little bit of an introduction of who Saint Germain was, if you don't mind, sir.
No, right away.
Oh, I forgot to introduce it. You're good.
Okay, so there are few names in recent history that could easily generate several hours of entertaining thought, and then a fine day among friends, I was discussing this fellow, and it's just unbelievable. So I'll begin this. There are persons of interest such as Signore Gualdi, which would also give a wonderful show because it's very similar to Saint Germain. That some believe that it was also the main that other name was Alessandro de Cagliostro, that people know as Casanova, which also was an agent of the same rank of Saint Germain, although he was too interested in women to follow all the proceedings and all the teachings. In fact, when the Pope offered him to access the secret library at the Vatican, he very respectfully refused because he didn't have time to go there and check the books. So that's why you never get to the level of Saint Germain. Another person on this scale is Preston John, that also people already mentioned here in the group. So let me see if I can give you a small introduction so I don't take too long. So give me a second. So during my research, I found out that not all the candidates like Saint Germain succeeded in the training and education. Chevalier de Saint-Galt, the mentioned I previously mentioned, Giacomo Girolamo Casanova, that we know as Casanova, is another one. And I'm repeating myself because I'm trying to read from my paper. I apologize. So there are no records of the birth year of Saint Germain. So while no consensus regarding his nationality or his parentage was ever obtained, some claim that he was Hungarian, others Portuguese, and in this case, either the son of a powerful Jew or a bastard son to the Portuguese king. Bastard, yes, but intentional, and whose upbringing and education would make him more powerful than any king. Portugal is a country that was created by the Templars and by all the sects, so it would be logical, but apparently not. Some say that his origin was, as he told in reported confession to his protector and enthusiastic admirer, Prince Charles of Hesse-Kassel, that I'm sure Nick is going to mention. According to him, Saint Germain told him to be the son of Prince Rákóczi of Transylvania, and that his first wife was called Tekeli, a high-rank Hungarian family of top military grade and of Ottoman origin. So, just to finish, Nick, many researchers believe him to be the offspring of Francis II, ruler of the once powerful Principality of Transylvania. Francis II of Transylvania had married a 16-year-old Charlotte Amalie of Hence one Fried on September 25, 1964, at the Cathedral of Cologne in Germany. So out of this union came two known children. However, when the will of Francis II was published in 1737, a third unnamed son was mentioned as beneficiary, and this is the one that might be Saint Germain. So this third child proved to be Leopold George, the eldest son and heir to the Transylvania throne. Leopold George was born either in 1691 or 1696, and depending which theory or birth one accepts. And because of the uncertainty of his birth rate, it's not known if he was the son of Charlotte of Hesse or of Francis' previous wife. What does appear to be certain is that Leopold George's early death in the year 1700 had been staged to save him from the deadly intrigues in which were about to destroy the Transylvania dynasty and end the independence of that country. So Leopold George is believed by many to be the Count on Saint Germain. I think that from this point on, I don't want to ruin what you have to present, because from this point on is when he's going to be taken by some sort of fraternity and initiated into this process of becoming an agent.
I did want to ask one question. You said the first kind of record of where he comes from is a Transylvanian bloodline.
Yes.
Very interesting, considering we know someone else who comes from a Transylvanian bloodline.
Sure.
Vlad the Impaler, which is Germanic as well, which ended up going into Germany. Those Germanic tribes and the royal family eventually.
90% of the researchers agrees that he is the third illegitimate son of Leopold II and the eldest, because he's from a previous marriage and not the royal marriage. But when they tried to destroy the kingdom, by omitting his name, he saved his life and delivered him to one of these societies that then raised him to be what he became.
Wow. So was he
nothing
like
to lose? There's nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, man. Right? Oh, you know what? Real quick, and I totally screw this up. This is why I hate doing intros, because I suck at them. I didn't let everybody introduce themselves. Real quick.
That's why I took so long to start and was a bit confused at the beginning.
Well, then it was like, you know what? Maybe by the time we're done, Lisa will show up, but she's still not here.
Oh, of course.
Fuck yeah, tyranny.
Ricardo, you want to introduce yourself? Let everybody know who you are.
Sure. So my name is Ricardo Calvario. My tag in X is, as you see in the screen, at Ricardo Calvario1 at X. If you want to support me, I have 2 books, The Resonant Earth and Stardust. And it's a pleasure being here. Thank you, Nick, for the invitation, and good evening to everyone.
Of course. No, thank you for jumping on, my man. And the Headless Giant, what is going on, sir?
How's it going? You can find me on X at the Headless Giant and on YouTube. I love this topic. Comte Saint Germain is one of those really interesting themes that you find popping up over and over again. It even goes back to the idea of, the immortality of the gods and maybe these other species. So I think that there's an interesting through line with all of this stuff. If you have any sort of occult experiences or dreams of any sort, magical experiences as well, if you've done any spells that you want to let me know about, please write me at the Headless Giant podcast at gmail.com, and we will read those on Thursdays. And if you do, Nick will send you some stickers if you include your address. So definitely check us out on Thursdays.
Hell yeah. Send those stories in, and I got you on the stickers. And my man, Jules, please let everybody know.
What's up, man? Back for another banger, guys. Everyone go follow Headless, please. Jules from the Gray Pilled Podcast. You know me. You can follow me on X at Gray Pilled Pod, over on Rumble, YouTube, all that good shit. Patreon. Really, always pushing Patreon. It's like my little pin tweet now. It's my thing. So you can come over there to support the show. There's a whole catalog of content that's not released. We do esoteric book reviews every Saturday morning. Nick comes and hangs out along with a few other buddies of mine, and a few other things we do on there. So patreon.com/Graypool Podcast. Yeah, man. Ready for another banger though. And I forgive me if I'm not talking as much tonight. That may be good for some people. That may be bad for some people. Some people may like it. They may dislike it. I'm still here all the same. Okay. But I had tooth surgery, oral surgery, I guess. And so, yeah, it is what it is.
A little rough for you.
I'm still here.
You're still here. That's what's up. And yeah, definitely go check out Jules's Patreon. Again, I normally don't push those things too hard, but it is. I mean, it's in my opinion. He goes over these books, and the books he's reading are really good, and I have a great time over there. So,
well, yeah, it's kind of like my second show in a way. Like I don't put any content out. It's kind of like a tier.
You get much content with that than probably your other show.
Man. So,
all right, Robbie, please let everybody know what is up and where they can find your amazing art, please. Sir.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be back and hanging out again. I am R. Marks, artist, illustrator, I generally do a lot of artwork and do a lot of research into various topics. If you want to check out my other stuff, I have my website, my Etsy with all my art, and then also the Meta Mindcast you can check out. As far as where to find me, you can go to my link tree, which is RMARX, and that'll pull up everything. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Tyrone, my man, please let everybody know where they can find all your amazing work as well.
Right on, right on. I appreciate it. Thank you all for having me here. Love the group. Always amazing conversations. Ready and excited about this. So everything you can find on me about me is on my website, rebirthoftheword.com. Also support my new Rumble channel where I'm going to different museums around the world, starting here in the Americas at least, and sharing what I've learned at these museums. And you can also get my book, Journey Through the Origins of History, on Amazon. I
I'm
appreciate
gonna need
it.
a signed copy of that.
I got you, bro. I
right.
got you, bro.
That signed copy.
We'll get
All
it.
right, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you making it as well. And real quick, before we go forward, I just want to try to mention these. I'm not going to go over all of them, but again, we do have events that are coming up October 4th and the 18th and the 25th to the 26th. Those are like all definite. Should definitely check them out. October 18th, I'm going to specify that one a little bit more because Brooke from Dark Florida, who's part of the Occult Rejects, will be a speaker there. And it should be definitely me and Tyrone will be there. She'll be there. She'll have a booth. There might be some other Occult Rejects, possibly. Not sure yet. But yeah, definitely check that one out if you're in the Fort Myers, Florida area. But yeah, definitely check out the show notes on the episode, and we'll have the places listed. And yeah, we'll have T-shirts and stickers there as well for free. So come check us out. So yeah, now we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I don't think this is the most in-depth kind of stuff here that I'm showing. It was very short-timed, again, because a guest canceled. So please, guys, add in anything that you think is missing. Again, Ricardo did mention about his whole thing about understanding who this guy even is. Toward the end of his life, he did claim to be Leopold George, the lost eldest son of Prince Francis II, Transylvania. So yeah, I did have that. Now his education, it says by his own unverified account, Saint Germain was educated in Italy. He allegedly studied at the University of Siena and was mentored by Gian de' Medici. It's impressive. The Grand Duke of Tuscany, who's said to be a relative by marriage. He mentions that. Then
that is highly relevant because that was one of the most knowledgeable mystics of the time. So, because he was patron of everybody, they've been patronizing this grand brains since Leonardo da Vinci. It's the
I was
same
going to
family.
say I've heard of this guy from Tuscany before.
Yeah, well, depending on, I guess, how you want to look at it. I mean, if they paid Marsilio Ficino to translate all those workings, I would say they were even behind the whole Renaissance.
Oh, possibly, but you have to understand that this Gian Gaston was the last one. So it is the end of the Medici empire or family. It's the end. He's the last one. So from that point on, it doesn't count because they lost whatever he had. It's lost, or perverted, or whatever you want to call it, right? So I think that's significant because Saint Germain was the last one that he mentored, possibly.
Okay, I got you. Do you know if is there any like lineages or lines that come from that guy of like study?
From the Medici?
Well, you know how like some secret societies, like, all right, like with the Astrum Argentum, you supposedly have to be in a lineage of somebody who learned from Crowley. You know what I'm saying? Is there anything associated with like the Medici family? Not to put you on the spot.
I can say because I never looked deep into the Medici. I know that they were the most connected, so I would assume a big yes to what you're asking because they were highly connected in everything. So, in fact, you can relate to the end. The Templars by this time were particularly done, and this is 18th, 19th century, 6th, 17th century. I can't remember. But the last lines of the Templars can be traced also to this guy, to this Giacomo. So there's also that connection. Rosicrucians, Merovingians, he has connections to all of those people.
Yo, you know what's while it says the Duke, but like one of my favorite songs, I was just thinking now by Dream Theater is The Count of Tuscany. It's interesting. I wonder if they're talking about the same motherfucker.
Yeah, possibly.
All right.
I was,
Can
I
I
was
continue? You
gonna,
got anything else you want to add? Anybody?
well, I was gonna bring up, if you look at some of the Opus Dei material, there is a Count of Saint Germain that was said to be one of the heads of Opus Dei, but they equate it more to a Catholic saint than they do to the Saint Germain we're talking about, which is interesting.
Yes, there's that case. But although some people like to think that Saint Germain was already hundreds of thousands of years when he appeared here, my research tells me no. He might be still be alive, who knows today? But his life started at some point at that age, at the age that is indicated. So I don't think he comes from anywhere behind that.
Okay,
what I
so
like, what I like to relate.
oh,
Go on, Nick. Go on.
So what do
Nick.
you say? Yeah, I'm sorry, no, I didn't really need to interrupt you for that. So like basically what you're saying is that he could be old, but it's not because he was born any earlier. It's just he's still alive or lasted long.
Yes. So if I have several quotes from people that actually was with him and describe him, and on one of the quotes is the King Louis the 14th, or I think it's the 14th, because he went well along with the 14th, but he was persecuted by the 15th. But on those quotes, he asked him, are you really immortal?" And he says, "I love to entertain the idea that people think that I'm much older than I am. However, I'm older still than they might think." So he always gave one on one side and one on the other, because he never assumed himself is like an eel. You can't grab him. He always made a way. I can look and find the quote because I think it needs justice. So if anyone wants to comment on anything while I look for the quote.
Real quick, I'll mention some of the other names he did go by just to get past this one. Throughout his life, he did deliberately conceal his identity, adopting numerous pseudonyms as he traveled. He called himself, I'm not going to pronounce these right, I'm sure, Marquis de Montferrat, Count Bellemare,
Saw you there. Added you in.
Chevalier Schuning, Count Saltykov, Graf Soroji, and Prince Ragozzi. And only in the 1970s did he begin consistently using the title Count of Saint Germain. And it's suspected that maybe it was referred to San Germano, Italy, or perhaps a play on Sanctus Germanus, the Holy Brother. You good now? You good now there, sir? Ricardo?
You want
I
other
had something
names
real
that he was known?
Oh no, I thought you said you wanted to bring up something you wanted to read.
Yeah, I'm still looking because
okay.
It's a few pages. I'm still looking for it.
Oh no, you're fine. Just
I got something real quick if you want to see
Yeah,
it.
Headless. You want me to pull this up?
I got it. Maybe.
Well,
Oh,
here, I'm going to remove that. We can add that.
There you go. So this is in Tuscany. This is the real sword in the stone. And this is inside of the San Giano Guidi temple. And it is fascinating. These
Fascinating.
Yeah, and there's a huge story and lore that goes behind it. Like this guy
We're
was
reading
bitten
about
by
this right now in the Western esoteric traditions, dude. The whole story with the sword. And
if that's connected to Comte Saint Germain, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's a really magical area. I think that might have something to do with the whole thing.
Nick, we may run into Saint Germain in this Manly P. Hall book.
Oh, nice. Great.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wait, that's a Penguin Classics? That was a Penguin Classics?
It's a no, it's a it's the Adepts in the Western Esoteric Tradition, Orders of the Great Work. It talks about the Manichaeans for a while and Manes, who was pretty based, and a bunch of other pretty cool stuff. But it gets into the Arturian mysteries and the Rose Croix and Camelot, Merlin. Very interesting things on Merlin, how his father was a sylph, like a wind spirit, and his mother was a nun.
Right.
And apparently he had to be exercised throughout his early life as a child. Kind of terrifying.
So, go on.
But yeah, no, cool book. Anyway, you guys are always invited to come and join us Saturday mornings. But I mean, dude, this begs the question. So, like, what is this guy? Is he a vampire? Is he a time traveler? Is he some kind of Elohim? Is he some kind of ascended master? Like, I don't know, dude. There's so many avenues to go down.
I think he's a very good alchemist.
Yeah,
is he an alchemist? Right.
Yes,
right.
yes.
He's a very good alchemist. And the quotes that I was finding, it says, the Count himself said to Louis, it was Louis XV when questioned, but these two quotes, and I mixed them, those two. So to the Louis XV, he said, when he asked about his age, he said, "Sire, I sometimes amuse not by making it believed, but by allowing it to be believed that I lived in ancient times." And to the Baron von Gleichen, he said, "These stupid Parisians imagine that I am 500 years old, and I encourage them to that thought, because I see it pleases them, although in reality I am much older than I look."
So he was known for basically being able to manufacture the Philosopher's Stone, the red stone, that is the medicine handed down that basically cures all ills and extends life. And it's this
extends life.
It's an alchemical process, basically refining this, where you take and you extract the oils from certain things, and then you crystallize those oils into this stone, and then it's got these regenerative, life-giving properties. It's oftentimes associated with mercury and cinnabar is what a lot, but when there was Chinese alchemists that were using mercury and cinnabar that basically killed themselves trying to replicate some of these alchemical experiments, and probably others as well. But
I know that happened early on too with lead, because that's all they had to use. They couldn't afford anything else.
That whole angle with the cinnabar kind of takes us right back to Tuscany, because this is where the ancient what are they called, the people before the Romans, I can't believe I'm blanking on their names.
The Greeks?
Oh, man.
No, but you know what I'm talking. Etruscans, Tuscany, the Etruscans. They would cover themselves in cinnabar.
Cinnabar, yeah.
Right? And so we're right back to Tuscany again, right back to Italy.
And imagine with that mercury content absorbing through the skin, what that's going to do in regard to the mental states.
Oh, they were nuts.
Yeah, it does. Like the Mad Hatters,
Yeah, if you look into their religious system, they were absolutely insane. There's so many strange things that they would do.
But he actually manufactured the so-called Philosopher's Stone, or transforming things into gold, in front of Louis XIV, at least, because Louis XIV registered that in his documents. But when he was asked, does this makes you immortal, he always answered, no, it only stops decay of the body. So you need to take it regularly. It's not something that you take once and
it works, right? It's
So it's something to stop the decay. And one important thing is,
man. That's dangerous.
One important thing that I don't know if Nick found in his research is that although he went to a lot of parties, he was never in an environment that he couldn't control. If he couldn't control, he would just leave. And another thing that I find very curious, he was never seen either drinking or eating.
Right.
He never ate or drank. He had his own cooks wherever he went, and he eat a very particular type of food that I have in my research, but I can't remember right, like a porridge kind of thing. That's what he ate. Sorry?
Kind of like a monk, how they don't they fast and they don't really
No,
He
he only eat a kind of a porridge that was made specially for him, for his personal servant, and he didn't eat outside of that context or drink.
Nick just said that's the Garmin Bozia from Twin Peaks. Nick, damn it.
Oh, okay. I didn't get it.
Hey, man.
Real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Lisa, sorry to put you on the spot real quick.
Hi,
but
Lisa.
you're here. So
hey, Lisa.
I am. Hi.
Cold Reject Mad Scientist. What is up? How are you?
Not much, just fashionably late, just not very fashionable. Just late.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
It happens.
Would you like to let everybody know where they can find you or anything? Say what's up.
Sure. Yes. You can find me on Twitter. It's Release Lisa, or you can check out our website, occultresearchinstitute.org, where so many other fellow rejects have contributed to. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Did anybody have anything else they wanted to add before?
Yeah. Do you guys want to see some Red Mercury?
Oh, I want to kind of go along with. Well, all right. Yeah.
It's like a 30-second
Nick's like,
video.
oh man. I mean,
sorry.
hey, let's see the red Mercury.
All
And
right.
also, was there any like experiences of seeing this guy and having to do with orbs or any kind of UFO or anything? Do y'all know of?
Not to my knowledge, because
Okay.
apparently what he might be using is the calls false doors. So they might have the use of the what we call false doors, might be actual portals from one place to another. That's why on these
I was gonna
old
say,
monuments
like,
you find so
art-
many false doors around, and everyone. It's like a Amurumuru, but inside a building, right? And proper sized, which Amurumuru
Right.
isn't.
All right, guys. Let me see if I can play this real quick. Look in the mirror.
Can't see it.
Can't see it at all.
It's not showing. Yeah, it's not showing up. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. And it's also repulsed by garlic. So he
Like
takes a piece
garlic.
of
Like, what do you mean?
It's vampiric,
Garlic.
dude.
It's fucking vampiric.
That's what I'm saying. Was Saint Germain a vampire?
Yeah, that was it.
Are you sure that we are looking the bottom of the flask on the mirror? Because I don't think we are.
Yeah, you can see right there. He's done other tests like this. He's
Optically, it's hard to tell because of the mirror and how it bends.
I'm gonna.
I want to believe you, but this video isn't clear. Okay, to me,
trust him, Ricardo. I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna go with my gut feeling on this one. I want to believe.
If you look up Red Mercury on Instagram, you'll find that guy. He's got tons of tests.
Yeah,
he just does all sorts of stuff with it.
Yeah, I would assume if that's true, there's probably stuff out there to see.
So I'm going to be the kid in the back of the classroom raising their hand and say, when was he allegedly born?
So
there's no date.
Ricardo talked about that, I think, didn't you, Ricardo?
In the morning,
There's no
probably at the
date.
beginning. Y'all were mentioning it at the beginning. I was listening.
So
to
the
it.
best. It's not the best. What 90% of people believe that went really deep into this is that you'll just have to see Francis II from Transylvania. So it's about the time of his death is when he appears with about 6, 7 years old. 7. He was the oldest son. So I believe it's within already the 18th century, but I might be wrong. Right at the beginning of the 18th century, or just at the end of the 17th century. Because when he said that he was older than he looked, he might be hinting that he was born earlier than most think.
So you would say that most of the lore surrounding that he was around in the 1500s.
I don't know, because he dismissed it. He always rejected that.
Like I said, the only reason I think he may be some kind of upir or vampiric species, whatever you want to call it, is because he comes from Transylvania, supposedly, and Vlad the Impaler, like we had brought up earlier, and all the lore stemming from that region.
Okay.
So
It's possible.
Well, the Red Mercury, that he's afraid of garlic and he can't show up in mirrors.
okay, no, all right, yeah. So
It's funny.
he's a vampire alchemist.
There we go. He's an alchemist.
Dude, that sounds kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's a cool.
That sounds
That's a
dope.
badass band name, Vampire Alchemist,
Did you ever see the movie?
or a good album name at least.
Have you ever heard of the myth of Longinus?
Longinus, yeah.
No. Longinus.
Exactly, yeah.
Please remind me, because the name is familiar, but I can't remember.
He was the Roman soldier that pierced the side of Jesus with a lance and was
yes.
said to be cursed to walk the face of the earth forever and never
Forever.
die.
Yes.
Wow.
Any
Germain.
association that maybe
He's
In
he's
here, what I've
immortal.
been discussing is that even according to him, whatever secret that him and two or three more that history records knew is how to stop the decay of the body
Of the
Yep.
flesh. Yeah.
by several takes, which
Right.
to me doesn't fit with someone that is already cursed. I think that's a different kind of immortal.
Mhm.
right.
Well, and
and
also, oh, go ahead, Lisa.
just really quick, sorry, Robbie. Just
No.
that most of the people that experience some of these Marian apparitions do experience their bodies being incorruptible.
Right.
That's what reminded me of that. Anyway, go ahead, Robbie. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I've also seen several occurrences where they relate Cagliostro to Saint Germain.
Yes.
And then, are you familiar with the Sir Edward Bull Lytton book about Zazzoni? Because that's supposed to be about Cagliostro. And I don't know, it's just interesting how like we were saying, he appears out of nowhere and disappears just as quickly, and he's always keying in on these certain political, events that are like history.
It's the same
shaping.
thing. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's exactly that. That's why in the beginning I mentioned his. The thing is, when they try to combine both of them into one person, there are historical portraits, and they are extremely different in every shape or form from one another. Because
Gotcha.
Cagliostro was not a pretty man; he was not that tall, perhaps a little bit fat. Um, he was much more a diplomat than an action man. And in the case of Saint Germain, he is also described as incredibly handsome, with a face that has no age. So it's one of those people that is always looks like it is in the 30s, 40s, or something like that. His hair impeccable. So they are very different. It's the only reason why we can't immediately put one on the other, because they did
Right.
exactly the same things
Yep.
in two separate, with a century separating them. So
And then you also had linked Saint Germain to Casanova.
yes, because there were agent strains at the same time.
Yeah, him and Voltaire and Mozart.
Right.
So they were both trying to shape the history, because that's what these people did.
Right.
They actually reshaped the history. They unified German again. That's his final deed, was that. And what you're saying, Nick, that Lisa remembers me speaking about him, is because it's also the last event where he's recorded by, in this case, by Casanova. So Casanova found him in a star fort, one of the last ones to belong to a group of Merovingians, and he was completely dressed. I have the description of the scene right here, so it's in the curiosities. Let me just. So, in one of the most known accounts, this time in Tournai, in Belgium, written by the notorious Chevalier de Seingalt, that is Casanova, he describes finding Germain dressed with an Armenian robe. So imagine being in Belgium, dressed in an Armenian robe, and upon his head was a pointed cap. His face was half hidden by a long beard that went all the way into his waist, and on his hand he held a ivory wand. So it could have been like Dumbledore. Imagine, like there was. So
Sounds like the village in New York City.
yeah. So the fact that Germain chose the city of Tournai to stay for a while is no surprise, since it was one of the old Merovingian cities, a star fort city. Apart from some locations in Portugal, in that day and age, there were very few places where an occultist could openly profess and dress himself to fit the part. So in here, what he was doing is, at this time and age, and this is what Lisa heard me say, he was, let me go back to you because I like to see your faces. There you are. So he was playing to create a new type of velcro for hats. And just about 3 or 4 years after this event, Germany revolutionized the world in how to make hats, and they destroyed all other markets with this new type of fabric that I believe was invented by Saint Germain. It was one of these last jobs for money, or whatever you want to call it. So he didn't only compose music, write with both hands, and an historical account and a love letter at the same time. He also could write with both hands the same text, and you could put it one on top of the other. His description is they put one leaf on top of the other to the candle, and you can't see a single line off the mark. It's basically, he spoke, I don't know, 17 languages, including Sanskrit. Because I can even tell you the language he spoke. Let me see.
France, yeah, I have that written. He spoke French, Britain, Italian, English, Polish, Spanish, Portuguese.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy spoke a lot.
Somebody brought up the Wandering Jew. Can we say that?
Yeah, I was just saying. I just messaged them. I said we were just talking about that before we went live.
Yeah.
Well, he was a good one. He's a good guy. I don't know who the one. Yeah, I heard y'all talking about him or bringing him up. Don't want to get the stream taken down.
Oh God. Yeah, right.
By just saying the word.
Yeah, really? Did they get like that now?
Yeah, well, that's why I was like, kind of caught myself.
Well, it's a plant.
Interesting.
So we're talking about the plant, not a person, because that's a name of a plant.
Oh, yeah,
too.
true.
Yeah, there you go.
It's called the
those
Wandering.
are pretty popular.
That's
It's true, actually. It comes from a nursery. So you can buy Wandering Jew plants at a nursery, and they look kind of interesting. But the whole idea is that it kind of goes back to this idea of, back to the blood of Jesus falling on the ground, and then where it fell, that's where the Wandering Jew plant came up. And then this person who was witness to the miracle was told that he would live until Jesus returns.
Oh, so it could be Saint Germain.
Yo, dude, yo. Wait a minute.
Well, he was
Germain?
He was described not only speaking all of these languages, but speaking them with no accent whatsoever. So I'm seeing if I have anything to add what you said. So the list I have is German, English, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, French, Greek, Latin, Sanskrit, Arabic, and Chinese, as if he was a native of those countries.
And if you'd been around,
learn all.
Yeah.
And he played the violin supposedly.
No,
this guy was a vampire. This guy was.
I wrote my paper on him, listening to his 6 sonatas, which I advise everyone to go and listen. And he wrote these 6 sonatas in such a short time, and during a period where he was in and out of jail in England, because he was arrested many times, and somehow they couldn't keep it locked in. Somehow he was always released, and the people that brought him in as a spy and so on said, "Why are we releasing him?" Right? And he always came out with a laughter because he knew he wouldn't be kept in prison for long. So,
I actually have something about his age and other people saying stuff about it. But real quick, I just want to read this other stuff. These claims that he said he could also do. He boasted that he was able to remove flaws from diamonds, transmute base metals into gold, and brew universal medicine, the elixir of life. He said he was also able to. He reportedly showed ladies that cosmetics to preserve youth and claimed to have perfected dyes and pigments of wondrous qualities. The claims kind of were far-fetched, but were delivered with such charm that kind of people basically fell for it. He even said that he mastered how he could melt and fuse small diamonds into one large gem without loss.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And he showed that at least once.
That's impressive. Now, when it comes to his age, he said he would imply to listeners that he was centuries old, hinting at experiences and ancient errors. For example, he told Madame the Pompadour's maid that he had known Princess de Pompadour's ancestors, implying an impossible age. So he told that story. By the 1760s, there was talks about him and his immortality, and the philosopher Voltaire said in 1760 he had wrote that he is a man who never dies and who knows everything. Yeah, man who, and he said he dubbed him a man who does not die and knows all, calling him Wonder Man. Yeah, Wonder Man.
Voltaire, and he was talking about Saint Germain.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned Madame Pompadour, because I have her own words, and she describes them as a thorough knowledge of all languages, ancient and modern, a prodigious memory, erudition, of which glimpse could be caught between the caprice of his conversation, which was always amusing and occasionally very engaging, an inexhaustible skill in varying the tone and subjects of his converse, in being always fresh, and in infusing the unexpected into the most trivial discoveries. The discourse made him a superb talker. Sometimes he recounted anecdotes of the court of the Valois, or of the princes still more remote. So this is hundreds of years back, with such precise accuracy in every detail as almost to create the illusion that he had been an eyewitness to what he narrated. He had traveled the whole world over, and the king lent a willing ear to the narratives of his voyages over Asia and Africa, and to his tales about the courts of Russia, Turkey, and Austria. He appeared to be more intimately acquainted with the secrets of each court than the charge d'affaires of the king. Sorry, it was a lengthy one, but describes him pretty well.
Have you ever heard of Prince Charles of Hesse Castle?
Yes, it's part of his history.
That family has come up in so many episodes I've done on like solo people that me and Lisa have covered. They always come up, but like even Prince Charles of them even said something about him, saying he was one of the greatest philosophers who ever lived.
Yeah, well,
it left a lasting impression on people.
The two manuscripts that he wrote. So one is in the library of Troyes at this moment, and is called La Très Sainte Trisophonie, which means the most holy threefold wisdom. However, some claim it might be older, and although rare and precious, Saint Germain has not written it, but being the one who possessed it, and undoubtedly familiarized himself with its mystical implications, and went through its ritual of spiritual initiation. Moreover, there is little doubt that his superbly illuminated copy in the Library of Troyes is not the original, but a copy. The second manuscript is a ritual of ceremonial magic entitled The Holy Magic, revealed to Moses, rediscovered in an Egyptian monument and preserved with great care in Asia. The one title page inside a triangle and above a winged dragon, we find the following writing: offered by the very wise Count of Saint Germain, who has traveled all over the world. So this is the two books that I have. If you guys are interested, I can send them to you.
Do you guys get that godlike quality from all of these topics? Like, if you were thinking about mythology,
God within,
right? Something like that. Because if you're thinking about these ancient mythological stories of how the gods pop in and pop out, like in the story of Psyche and Cupid.
And Cupid,
right?
yeah.
It's that same kind of quality to it. Like they know all these things and they can do these things, and they're kind of mysterious. It's that same quality that you get through Comte Saint Germain.
One thing I wanted to kind of interject is that I looked it up real quick because I wasn't very fluent with my lore, was that because the blood of Christ had touched him, the lore was that he was then allowed to live or whatever, not die. And that he was, I guess he was assumed a saint, and he's recognized as a saint because when he pierced Jesus, they had wanted him to break his knees, as they did with all the crucifixions, to kind of, end the life and everybody go home. And he said, no, he's dead. And so he didn't break the knees of Jesus, and therefore that he's considered a saint for sparing, I guess, the knees of Jesus. And so he is also spoken of by in the Gospel of Nicodemus, and goes on to be. He appears in the Bible and all that stuff. I just wanted to make sure that that was inserted in there, just because I didn't want to incorrectly state that. That's it. That's all.
Well, to say that he was a god might be not that far fetched, as if the gods are playing with us, because there is a curious case of a protested bill of exchange, which is like a check, in a small town of Piedmont, and this led to his arrest. However, he pulled out 100,000 crowns worth of jewels and paid on the spot. He humiliated the governor of the town and was released with the most respectful excuses. So this is the only time on his whole story that he used superb to and humiliated someone directly. If you go and looked for this time and age, how much 100,000 crowns is, it's just like a billion, right?
Yeah.
So, and in jewels. So where did he keep? Where was he keeping these jewels? So it's almost godly like. It's like a miracle.
Did you mention before he got arrested during the Jacobite rebellion? So you do have that also in here.
I have the times he was arrested.
Yeah, it says they seized an odd man who goes by the name of Count Saint Germain. He has been here 2 years. He will not tell us who he is or whence he came from.
Yes.
Yeah, he told them. What did he say to it? He says that he denied something about like I don't know anybody. Yeah, he basically goes on saying that he doesn't do anything. I don't know. I'd never had any dealings with women, and admitted to using a false name. But yeah, they eventually let him go. They thought he might have been a Jacobite spy because he seemed like a weirdo.
Look, when you have a guy that when you go into papers, you have this description for this person, but he has so many names that it's so confusing. As you mentioned, I have here during this time, she writes, this is Mrs. Copper Oakley. During this time, we have Saint Germain as the Marquis de Montferrat. We have Comte Bellamere or Aymar in Venice. So in Venice alone, he had two names. Chevalier Schoening at Pisa in Italy. Chevalier Weldon in Milan and Leipzig. Count Soltikoff as Genoa and Langhorn. Graf Sarkozy at Schwarzbach and Triesdorf. Prince Ragozzi at Dresden, and Count Saint-Germain in Paris. This is just, and he says it's just one of those. Let me see if I find the times he was arrested.
That's crazy, all those names.
Yeah.
I've noticed that there's a real connection between Hungarian and Romanian and Paris, right? It seems to be a bridge of culture between those two sources for a long time back in the 1800s.
Well, and the fact that they released them to me, I have here, from official documents, we learned that Saint-Germain was in England during the year 1743. Saint-Germain was playing the part of a gifted musician, so it's a perfect cover because he was, what do they call it, a savant of the violin. And several of his music...
Savant, yeah, I was just about to say that too, Ricardo, the savant part, yeah.
And several of his music compositions were publicly performed in the Little Haymarket Theatre in early February 1745. He also had several of his trios published by the Walsh Company of London. Nevertheless, because these being suspicious times, England had both the Jacobite cause and the invasion of Scotland going on behind doors. Some among the British authorities did not believe that Saint-Germain was in London to pursue a musical career. So in December of 1745, Saint-Germain was arrested by the British on suspicion of being a Jacobite agent. He was obviously quickly released when the letters from Charles Edward, leader of the Stuart invasion, were not found on or with him as it was expected. But the funny thing is what happens after. So he has just been arrested for the charge of high treason. And where do we find him next? He went directly into Austria and into the house of none other than the top minister in office. So Austria being England's ally, this was highly irregular. So you have to keep in mind this is the time of the period of the War of the Austrian Succession, so in which Austria and England were together against France and Prussia. So, but it doesn't end there, because during this visit to Austria, Saint-Germain was introduced to the French Minister of War that was also there. What was the French Minister of War doing in enemy territory? Whose name was Marshal de Belleisle. So, and this short meeting gave him this next voyage, and this time, this is how he entered the French court, when he was introduced with honors to the king. It's just a small part of a few 2 or 3 years of his life. All this happened in that small period of time.
Yeah, that makes sense, because the Austro-Hungarian Empire sort of came out of that. And, that Parisian connection is really important. Franz Mucha, the guy who created Art Nouveau, he was a Hungarian Parisian. And so that whole influence of Hungary and Paris together created sort of the Art Nouveau movement that swept across Europe.
He kept doing exactly this, back and forward into enemy territory where he shouldn't be accepted or go freely. So kept being arrested and released, and there he goes again.
See, now this is really interesting, because now I'm wondering, like, I'm looking at the stuff that he does, a few years later, and it mentions that while in London, he was like playing in early 1745. He contributed several songs to the opera. And he started giving, in 1749, he started to give private concerts for the nobility. And Lady Jemima, or whatever, York, said, he was she was very much entertained by him, the oddness of his matter. I'm going to read everything else she says. I'm getting to a point what I started to think about now. She also mentioned that he's very sensible and well-bred in conversation. She wrote, he is an odd creature. He is everything with everybody. He talks ingeniously with Mr. Ray, philosophy with Lord Willoughby, but the character of philosopher is what he seems to pretend to. I can't but fancy he is a great pretender in all kinds of science, as well that he really has acquired an uncommon share in some. Now I'm just wondering, like you were saying again, like this guy's a spy and he's in places that he's not supposed to be. Like, is this whole cover right here too, like him playing this music for these people? He's getting inside their houses possibly.
Because music was his interest, like an artist. He always entered as an artist, right? Until he gets the confidence of these high people. After that, he's always on their houses, right? Even King Louis XIV gave him a complete small palace just for him to be there and be doing his stuff. For what reason, no one knows. But it was supposed to be by services he has done for France. Supposedly in this war that we're just talking about.
I said even the Prince of Wales was impressed and was even trying to figure out who he was too.
Sure. He was everywhere. This guy was everywhere. And no one knows who he is, in truth. So how is he giving counsel to kings? How is appearing in these people's quarters with the use of no doors? What is it?
The use of no doors is the meditation, bro. You just like you said earlier, the stargates, the star portals, all that other stuff. You got to remember the pineal gland, the third eye. That's the consciousness. That's the portals. That's the traveling outside of our body that people don't realize. You're saying it, bro. It's the same thing. I'm telling you, he sounds like Jesus to me. Many different names, different abilities. I mean, you got to remember from the Apocrypha, Jesus wasn't always a good person either. He used some of his powers to make himself probably laugh. I mean, you remember the Apocrypha, the forbidden books, when people falling off roofs and he bringing them back to life, and he's killing friends on purpose just so he can resurrect them and stuff like that. This is knowledge that people have been, and you got to remember, this is all through a journey. We don't learn. How can I say it? You remember that you ever heard that saying, I wish I knew what I knew now that I could have learned that I could have knew back then.
My question
right?
to
That's
you
the
is
same thing.
My question to you is, are you raising Saint-Germain to the quality of a son of a god with powers, or are you lowering Jesus to someone who was initiated and had certain powers?
Well, that's a good question, because let's put it in the perspective of this. Both of them just basically taught us that we had to look within to accomplish what we wanted, that is still mystical, right? And lowering or putting somebody on a pedestal, whether they're a god or not, you got to remember every god on this planet has the same type of personalities as each and every individual on this planet. They're no different than us. Their personalities are just like us.
Yeah, but
That's
what
why
I'm
we're in
saying
the
is,
image.
are we stating? Because I would support that. Are we stating that gods are just people with a technology that we still call magic because we don't understand it?
Well,
Science that hasn't caught up yet for us, at least.
So if you follow this back, going into the Merovingian bloodline, you know, going back to the line of Jesus into the Middle East, if this is the case, maybe tied in with the Magi, and some sort of, like you were saying, technology that persists that's been hidden. Yeah, it is interesting, you know, philosophically to think about.
Yeah, because if you look into his books, it's not that different from Egyptian magic or a type of
I was
hieroglyphs.
going to say, yeah, you go back to King Solomon, and he was using these invocations to, you know, do all these things, and this is the same, you know, type of magic, in my opinion.
What if Jesus did have kids with Mary Magdalene?
Oh,
that's a good. And you know what? I actually have a book series from the 1600s, 1700s that actually goes into great detail on that. It's called The Mary of Agreda, and it's a very interesting book because the lady herself got this information supposedly from the Virgin Mary herself. It's an 8-series book that's in New Modern Times put into a 4-book count. So it's 8 series within 4 different types of books. And it's very, very interesting you say that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because for the simple fact that we don't know who the Virgin Mary is. We don't even know anything about this guy either. Like I said, if we look at the idea of reincarnation and coming back to another body form or living many years and thousands of years and so on and so forth, we can go back to Gilgamesh when he was trying to live forever. We can go to the simple fact that Thoth is also known as Hermes and Trigestis, and then we also know him as Kukulkan and Quetzalcoatl. We don't know these time frames that these individuals really actually survived. We have a given time frame, but we don't actually have a time frame, and we always know that these characteristics carried forward each and every time. Now, a good example of this is in just recent times, there was this kid, not in recent times, a couple of years now, but and by far it's funny that it was on the Ancient Alien show where a kid remembered his past life from a war fighter from, I think, like World War II or something like that. So, and he drew these pictures out. He literally drew these pictures out. His family didn't even take him serious until he started naming out buddies that died in battle with him, his aircraft number, and the aircraft parts itself. And he even knew how to fly it because they took him to an air show one time and he was telling everybody exactly how to use that aircraft. So we have an indication of life after death, people carrying on their personalities even after death, because energy never dies.
So also, then you have those talking about the halls of Amente and stuff.
And right? I was just about to go on to that,
like reincarnation chambers. Right.
Also, if you go into the Eastern traditions, there's a great body of evidence in regard to controlled reincarnation, and you know, you look at the Dalai Lama and how they go in and they test and they find, you know, and so, you know, these are all, yeah,
dude, those fucking llamas can go in there, lay down, do a ceremony, and leave their bodies willingly, and then come back if they want.
Right.
Yo, I got shit on that. Yo, and then when those dudes die, yo, no shit. I actually have like
they turn into light bodies, don't they?
Right. 13th.
Yo, they
fucking disappear.
Yeah. No, for a month, their body doesn't show any sign of decay.
Right.
Even after they're dead.
Now there are
they're incorruptible bodies.
Right. They hit that peak of enlightenment where it's like, you know,
there are several monks in recent times that, as they know they're dying, they'll actually drink huge vats of salt water to basically crystallize and to preserve their body so it won't decay.
We were talking about.
Are you sure?
In a book review,
I thought it was
how
honey.
These guys were sorry, Headless. Hold on. How these guys were getting buried in these rituals and being brought back, and they were all leathery and like real, you know, dry, and they would pour water on them. And they would basically, you know, wake up and come back to life and walk off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
A lot of amazing stories in the Eastern texts, man.
Well, the mellified man was a Chinese ritual where a man would be eating honey nonstop for a year, right? Just to where he only had honey inside of him, and when he would die, they would cover the rest of his body in honey until the entire thing was like one giant crystallized honey block.
Yep.
And then
like amber, it's preserved in amber once it's solidified.
Right. They would use his body as a universal medicine so that it would cure any illness.
There was a tradition where they would actually make a blue honey. This is in the South American Maya Quiche culture, and basically create this. And when you partook of it, you received all the information from the ancestors within you. You know, so yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Well,
body and blood of Christ.
What's that?
Body and blood of Christ.
Blood of Christ. Yeah, going back to Melchizedek.
Dude, don't get me started.
Tyrone, have you ever seen? Sorry, go on.
No, sorry, brother. No, I was just telling Robbie. He has to come on. I think Nick was even telling me you would like to come on one of the book reviews. I was telling Headless too, but his internet went out.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
Yeah. Some stuff we talk about, I think you really like.
Oh yeah, it's all
what I was going to remind is have you seen the John Cameron documentary, The Tomb of Jesus?
No.
No.
Okay. No, my favorite one is the Passion of Christ. That's the only one that I like watching.
No. That is a movie. The Tomb of Jesus is actually everyone knows he did that from Titanic, and then the movie came from that, right? In this case, he discovered that there was a guy complaining that he was trying to amplify his house and went into a tomb. And so archaeologists decided to completely shut down the area because they considered it sacred ground. And after a long process, he managed to reach out to John Cameron. John Cameron became very interested in filming it. And when they got the permits to enter and so on, what they found is one of the tombs have the name of Jesus, son of Joseph. He has the Mary Magdalene also named on one of the tombs, and they have several what they think they were sons of them. So this is probably from the early 2000s. So I really strongly recommend you see that, because either you believe it or not, but it is more factual than the Bible, because the Bible is just words. In there you have something factual to look upon. Is it
right.
a coincidence of names? Perhaps, but it doesn't seem, because the family members are all corresponding to the actual names and how they would be written in Hebrew and not in our tongues.
Interesting.
And the
it would
second
be written in Aramaic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. And another thing I wanted to put in is in terms of reincarnation. I think sometimes reincarnation might be misunderstood as someone that gains a connection to what people usually call. You gave several names. I'm giving it the Akashic record. Someone that gets in there and gets a thread and captures that thread and remembers those things. So it doesn't mean that it is the same person reincarnating, but it's someone that got a thread of a particularly line time of the Akashic record and gets all of that information in one goal and assumes it as his own, right?
Yeah.
Or something, because it's very personal, right? To those that use the Akashic record can understand that the information that people get, be it a musician, an artist, when we're getting this things that we seem to be channelizing when we're creating
these downloads. Yeah.
Already there.
It's random.
That's where they're coming from, right?
Yeah.
Well, is it just more a matter of the vibrational waveform that
exactly it would be,
and so because of the resonant frequency, you kind of preclude and take that onto as part of
exactly because if you associate the theory of Rupert Sheldrake, the bio. Can you help me, Tyrone? What do you call the
Biomagnetic electric field.
biogenetic suit? So it's
Yeah, yeah.
there's a wave that is outside the body,
Right.
right? And that wave vibrates according to the emotions of the body itself. So if you attune to certain levels when you are, for instance, creating, that can help you to get some type of frequency, you
Yeah.
connect to that, and then you start channeling. That's why if you are stressed, you can get the same result. You have to be almost absent for that to occur, and then it flows in
Zen
one go.
state.
Yeah. So what I was trying to connect is, if someone gets into one of those states, but by coincidence has a frequency that is exactly the one that has all that timeline of someone, you can incorporate that and see it as yourself. I'm sorry I made it too long, but I just wanted to say
not at all.
One thing I was going to add, I think is interesting about this guy. In 1749, the king employed Saint Germain on secret diplomatic missions.
And here we get into intel.
Yeah, Madame Pompadour liked him.
He was an agent.
Hooked him up with Louis XV. Oh, and then I even have real quick. I know because I think Ricardo, you mentioned Casanova before. Quote by him. It may safely be said that as a controversialist, he was unequaled. That's what he said about him. And he also said that he was always aimed at exciting amazement. So he did say that. But when he was with King Louis XV, he also gave him the king gave him a laboratory space at one of
that's what I was saying. A small palace, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 francs to pursue scientific experiments. Jeez. Yeah, he was doing it up.
The only thing that the official paper says is that from 1749, the king employed him on diplomatic missions and he acquitted himself honorary in them. That's the only mention of these missions that exists in paperwork.
You know what's so funny and interesting about this is that you never know who you're talking to. You never know who is who. Anybody in this room could be a Jesus or deity of some sort. Any one of us could be anybody that you come in contact. That's why I always say, the most important thing for me to do is just always try to learn everybody that's around me, understand everybody that's around me, because there's people come into your lives for a reason. This person came into everybody's life for a reason. We're talking about him in 2025 for a reason, right? And I said this before plenty of times to you guys. You die twice on this planet. You die once when you're physically dead. Okay. And you die a second time when nobody mentions your name. This man is not dead yet because we still mention his name in 2025. You don't have to be physically alive for somebody to make a change in this world, because look at Jesus, right? And everybody will argue whether he's real or not. So, hey.
It's like the halls of Valhalla.
In the 80s, you have a guy claiming that he was Saint Germain. He even went on television and all.
Yeah.
So when people want to compare those,
if you compare those pictures, a lot of people have that. I've seen the pictures side by side of Saint Germain and this guy that came. And okay, maybe.
Maybe, but no. I
don't just think about it. If somebody like that was to come today, right now, and tell you, "Hey, I'm this person," would you believe it? Probably not. Right? 9 times out of 10, nobody in this room would believe that shit. I mean, I can tell you right now, me personally, if I was to tell you, "Hey, I'm this person. I know my lifestyle. I know where I came from. I know who I am." 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to take me serious. They're not, and that's part of the problem. Is that's why people's names carry forward. See, back then, writing was very important. That was the most advanced technology that people could get themselves to be remembered forever. This dude wrote things down, wrote music. There's people studying every aspect behind him. There are people trying to counter what he says, but instead prove what he said was factual. We have to start paying attention to what people say deeply and not just research them because we think it's interesting, but understand what it is. Because I'm telling you, it just takes that one little thing to break somebody and be like, "Hey, that person was that person." And then you start putting these puzzle pieces together, you're starting to confuse yourself.
The last thing from his history, the last thing you would see is Saint Germain appearing and saying, "Hey, here I am, publicity on me," right? It doesn't make any sense. If he was
Right.
still alive, he'll still operate at the
He'd be
higher
under,
echelons,
yeah.
but under the radar. Because I don't want people to know that I'm 400 years old, because
Right.
otherwise they'll be on to me, right?
So
Right.
Headless, you had mentioned earlier this unknown patriot. Why don't you tell us that story?
Oh, well, I was just going to mention real quick the connection to Romania and vampires and possible ancient pyramids, right?
Oh,
So another character in this whole thing was Erzsébet Báthory, and she was a Hungarian princess in the same sort of area, and she bathed in women's blood, right?
The
So
blood of
you've got
virgins, right?
to keep her young,
Yeah.
specifically.
it's like a dream
So-
girl.
There's a sick black metal band named after her called Bathory.
There's a part in Hostel that was about like that too.
Right. Again, hostile. It's this Eastern European brutal kind of motif that keeps coming back. It's like there's something about that's really dark. And there are so many like haunted sites that I've seen on these ghost TV shows about Romania. Lots of lights in the woods, lots of really creepy stuff out there, Wolfman, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Shit, Dogman.
Right. And I think I was reading that there's, pyramids that are just underneath forests inside of Hungary and Romania. So who knows how ancient that civilization could really go
Right.
back,
Right.
Is anybody really doing that kind of research if it doesn't fit into their paradigm?
That's a good
I
question.
do. I can tell you the oldest vampire is mentioned in the Sumerian text by Samuel Noah Kramer, and it's because of Lilith.
Lilitu.
Yeah,
Right.
yep, Lilitu. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, bro.
100%. Yep, you're right.
I told
Yep,
you, man.
got it.
Yeah, dude. Me and you got to get together sometime.
Yeah, I remember that book, Headless. I got to get that. I actually have
Golden
that
Ass.
somewhere.
It's from the 2nd century AD. What's that?
I still got to buy that book, but I want you to autograph it for me, even though you didn't write it.
What
It's from
book
the
is it?
It's the Golden Ass.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You remember
That's a
the two
fun one.
witches in the beginning? They were vampires too.
Right.
That's wild. That's wild. I gotta order that.
So I think you wrote that book and you're just trying to sell it.
There's so
I
much
just
weird
think
stuff in that book.
when we talk about vampires, we must realize that most of them are not for blood. They may use blood for other things, but they are not feeding of blood. They're feeding of energy. So they'll be in horror movie theaters or in when there's so many people that say, "Oh, I've been with these people and it got me completely drained." I don't understand. I feel completely drained. So these people that know how to extract, and I have several books that are
they're called energy vampires.
Yeah, there's definitely
the initiation
those,
of the most respected high echelons of vampiric clubs,
when you
and
look
they
back
are
to-
all about energy. They are teaching
when you
you
go back
how
to,
to do it.
like the ancient kind of the mythology of the vampires, especially like the Slavic vampires, like the ones from 30 Days of Night and what's that other movie? There's some other show, but they had like tails and stuff. They were called Who Peers.
The new Netflix
like this legend
vampire series is really good.
Okay.
Or Dracula, whatever it is. So, but now didn't Saint Germain have some sort of a mystical quality, almost like a mesmer kind of being able to enchant people on a certain level?
He was very charming, and he was taught to impress, and his knowledge helped that. So he know how to use words, and it's like a Saruman character.
Right.
He enchanted people with his voice, with what he has to say. In fact, I was about to read. So you get a small period of time between 1760 and 1762. Just watch what this man did. So in 1760, Saint Germain left France for The Hague in Holland. This was the height of the 7 Years' War that had Holland as a neutral country, and it seems that Germain was trying to use that to the advantage of his quest, the creation of a monetary fund for France. But so the verb of agents was vast, and at this time he was thwarted by the Duke of Choiseul. So the Duke of Choiseul was the only real enemy that he had. He's the only contra agent that he found, that he knew who he was and was trying to kill him, literally. So the Duke of Choiseul that ordered his arrest on sight. So Saint Germain was forced to abandon his mission and escape, this time into London, aided by his influential friend, the Count Bentwick, the president of the Dutch Council of Deputy Commissioners. Still in the same year, upon arriving in London after fleeing Holland, Saint Germain was once again arrested and released. And during this short stay in England, Saint Germain published 7 violin solos. 7. It was still 1760, and Saint Germain decided to once more return to Paris. But this time he went secretly and unannounced, staying with the German princess of Anhalt-Zerbst. She was an agent of mercenaries with England as her major client. Her daughter, Catherine II, was forcefully married with Peter III of Russia, a marriage arranged by Frederick the Great of Prussia, the man that he taught this young girl to assassinate and take the whole kingdom of Germany, all united under her name. That's why she's known today. So 2 years later, in 1762, Peter III took the Russian throne. Leading to this, Saint Germain immediately went to St. Petersburg when he schemed, planned, and succeeded in removing Peter III using the Orlov family that are believed to have murdered Peter by strangling him, and thus established Catherine II as the Empress of Russia. She became known as Catherine the Great, ruling Russia for 29 years. I've said Germany, but it's Russia.
So Comte Saint Germain overthrew the government of Russia?
Yes.
Damn.
Hey, while I got a chance, Ricardo, when you said that vampires weren't about blood, you got to remember blood.
Not all. I said the majority.
No. I know. What I was getting to was the fact that you got to remember blood is the visual representation of the draining of the body, of draining of the energy. Once your body, so that's probably where they converted the idea. Because I think you're right. It wasn't necessarily blood, because that's not how it was described about Lilith. It was more about the energy, taking somebody's energy. That's why she was in the tree. Yeah, exactly.
Well, all of this kind of Bibles that I have, they teach you exactly how to do that. That's the initiation process, right? And these people literally feed on that. But the thing is, 99% of the members of these clubs are just wannabes. They learn these techniques, but they are just humans. They have no special capability of living longer. They just can take energy from other people, right? But they are merely humans. Although
isn't adrenochrome red also? Don't they talk about that too? Doesn't that bring into a whole different effect? Because isn't that like something that a lot of people talk about, is the adrenochrome and the energy and all this other stuff?
Well, I think for obvious reasons, none of these books mentions what is required to extract the adrenochrome gland and to take some effect of it, which is literally chewing it right after taking it.
Yep.
So, and the person that you take it from has to be scared to death in order to be as rich as possible. So You first have to be tortured, then scared to death, and only then you're killed, and that is extracted to be chewed by someone. But that doesn't rejuvenate you. It's just like a drug. It's a highly powerful drug that they believe allows them to communicate with these spirits and give them the directions or whatever you want to call it.
Right. So I've also read the Mayan pyramids, when they would basically cut their hearts out, they were also taking the pineal gland and chewing on. So they would scare them, take their heart out in front of them. And then this was a whole process. And they were, killing, how many thousands of people a day.
Sure.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. They was eating the pineal gland. That's crazy as fuck.
I've read it in a couple places as far as the viability, who was there,
There are some of those cultures that instead of using slaves, because that invests an army, that invests capture, that invests a certain amount of things, what they did is they chose girls at birth And as soon as they are off the mother, they were taken underground, so they never see the daylight.
All right,
And
Scorpion princesses.
Yeah, and they are drugged until they reach some of these girls reach the age of 14 years old.
And they only ever see moonlight.
Exactly. Yes, thank you. And they are drugged to the day that they are sacrificed, and they are sacrificed when they are at the peak of doses. So they really they never live in this realm. They are always completely out there because they drug them constantly.
Wasn't there also some element that they kept them elevated off the earth? They could never touch the earth physically, otherwise it would spoil their purity.
I think so. The surface, yes,
Yeah,
they couldn't
yeah,
get.
yeah.
That's why they were taken underground. Yeah.
Right.
And they were well fed, much better fed than the people
yeah.
on the surface.
Very much
without a
so.
doubt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ricardo, didn't he also this guy Saint Germain? Didn't he also try to end like a war? Like, didn't the Dutch want to arrest him or something like that? I saw it earlier. I didn't read it though. Something about like I think he was trying to end the war, and the Dutch thought maybe like it was like shady that he went over to the other country because he was going over there to try to like work out like to stop it.
Okay, so let me read these two paragraphs. Because of his constant appearance as a guest on both sides of warring nations, some suggested he may be acting as a secret agent of King Louis XIV of France when he went to India with Robert Clive. They can be excused to think so, for when Saint-Germain returned to France in 1758, he was given an apartment in the French royal palace of Chambord, but it did not end there. He was also given a laboratory, laboratory facilities for his chemical and alchemical experience, in which the king himself, Louis XIV, sometimes participated. But in 1760, this is what that war was I just said about. So it's when he left France for Hague in Holland. But the war never happened, as I recalled. So probably that's what you're mentioning.
Where does it say that?
Because the records that I have go from 1750. Okay, let me see when it starts. 1749, 45, 43. Okay, so we have
7 years war. It said the Count of Saint Germain.
It says. These are the names.
Yeah, Saint Germain took it upon himself to try to broker peace between France and Britain.
No, what I have from 43 is from official documents. We learned that Saint Germain was in England during the year 1743. He was playing. This is what I read before. He was playing the part of a gifted musician. I already mentioned this.
Yeah, I'm talking about 1760.
So 1760 is when he's trying to do that. That's what I just described. When he tried to do that in Holland, the Duke of Choiseul ordered his arrest on sight. That's when he had to flee and abandon his plans.
Yeah. No, I just and then after that, he ends up going over to he ends up like in Italy eventually after that too, correct?
So we stopped the description in scheme plans. Okay, between 1763 and 1769. So after he put Catherine the Great in power for Russia, Saint Germain was seldom seen, if at all. One of the few more or less certain places is in Berlin, when he stayed for about a year as a guest of Friedrich August of Brunswick. And Brunswick is also an important name on all of this. He returned to France in 1770 and worked as an agent of Louis XV for 2 years, helping the diplomatic negotiations done in Vienna over the partition of Poland. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Germain,
what if he went over to America?
Did he?
It doesn't. Let me see.
There is the
German
story
continue.
of
Go
the
on.
Phantom Patriot. So
Right.
when they were signing the Declaration of Independence, this weird characters sort of popped into the room and then gave them sort of like a sermon before they all started to sign it. So you have that sort of Comte Saint Germain type style going on with that. I mean, there is a astral projection, but he seems to be this guy that's always constantly changing history.
Yeah,
It's interesting. It's interesting about the Philadelphia area because that's tightly connected to this I am cult, right? So the I am cult was one of the first UFO cults, and it was a guy who was up in the what's it called? There's this mountain, Mount Shasta in California, where he was visited by Comte Saint Germain. So he built a foundation out there in California called the Count Saint Germain Foundation, and in Philadelphia they also have another headquarters. And what's interesting about that is it's in the Wissahickon Gorge, which is where the first settlers of the Woman in the Wilderness cult started out in that gorge, where this guy would heal people using music. So it all sort of plays back into this Rosicrucian element because the Women in the Wilderness became the Rosicrucians in America later on with the Beverly Hall.
Yes,
so
yes.
That's an interesting connection with all the sort of eternal life stuff going on in Philadelphia.
But that story of the unknown patriot, if anybody wants to look into that, mainly P. Hall talks about it, and it's also in an old book called The Folklore of America. And he just appears suddenly. He gives this great oratory speech to encourage everyone to rise against, the oppression, and they all sign, and then he just disappears as fast as he, appeared. Yeah.
So in 1770, he returns to France because the Duke of Choiseul has been disgraced and removed from power. So there's no prison order. So I have here, although Saint Germain was most likely the most powerful and knowledgeable of all the high agents of his time, he was but one. And in 1774, Louis XV died suddenly at the age of 64. His death was reported as smallpox that he had not yet had in his young years. This could easily be contrived by opposing forces, expecting only that the prince's heir was old enough to rule. Louis XVI was 19 years old when he took the throne, and with him the restoration of honor, status, and power to the formerly disgraced Duke of Choiseul. So, again, Saint-Germain couldn't stay in France. So this made it impossible for Saint-Germain to stay in France and never openly returning to it. It's the last time he's seen there. 11 days after Louis XV's death, we find Saint-Germain in Germany. So he was quite quick to get there. And guests of no other than William IX of Hesse, the prince who was to inherit the vast Hesse-Kassel fortune. So there is this guy, J.G. Bornstoldt, who was at that time also a guest, and he wrote, "We were guests at the court of the Prince Hereditary William von Hesse-Kassel, brother of Karl von Hesse, at Hanau, near Frankfurt. As we returned on the 21st of May 1774 to the castle of Hanau, we found there Lord Cavendish and the Count of Saint-Germain. They had come from Lausanne and were traveling to Kassel and Berlin." They're always on the move. So after this stay with Prince of the Hessian Prince, Saint-Germain traveled around Europe, staying in houses of renown as the Margrave of Brandenburg and others. So here we start to see the end of his public life. And in 1779, Saint-Germain moved into the Prince Karl of Hesse home, who was a top leader of the Strict Observance. So this is a name that I think all of you know. This being a sect that was born in Germany and grew out later to what is known as Templarism. This is about 1725. However, no great lodge was established till 1752. And then we start to see his death. Saint-Germain spent the last 5 years of his known life with Karl, and in 1784, Saint-Germain was reported to have died. Prince Charles, who appears to have regretted his death, very sincerely tells us that he fell sick, while pursuing his experiments in colors at Eckernford, Germany, and died shortly after, despite innumerable medicaments prepared by his own private apothecary. And the church register of Eckernford contains this entry: deceased on February the 27th, buried on March the 2nd, 1784, the so-called Count of Saint-Germain and Weldon. Further information not known, was privately deposited in this church. So most people think that this death was faked. And for instance, you have this quote. For instance, the Baron E.H. Gleichen, in his memories published in 1868, wrote, I have heard Germain and an old relative of a French ambassador at Venice testify to having known Saint Germain in 1710, when he had the appearance of a man of 50 years of age. So this immediately makes him older than he says. A German mystical magazine published in 1857, Magazin der Busführer, I can't read, this is German, I can't read this, stated that Saint Germain was once the French representatives of the 1785 Masonic Convention in Paris, so 1 year after his reported death. Cantu Cesare, that some may know, in his work Gli Ereci d'Italia, stated that Saint Germain was present at the famous Wilmsbad Masonic Conference that was held in 1785. The Countess of Ademar, a member of the French court who wrote her memoirs shortly before her death in 1822, reported seeing Saint Germain many times after his supposed death. As always, during times of upheaval, she claimed that Saint Germain had sent warnings to the King and Queen of France, regardless of their lack of animosity, with Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, of their danger in the upcoming French Revolution, which occurred in 1789. She also claimed that he saw him in 1793, 1804, and 1813 and 1820. So I could go on and on because he keeps being seen, but it's obvious that, for instance, one of the wise men that knows him said that Saint Germain was an amazing man, and like so many others of his caliber, he forgot not to die, which means to be taken out of scene and go underground.
Now, also, isn't there some relation in regard to the hidden masters, that he is considered to be one of these hidden masters that is kind of maybe behind the scenes of, like, I don't know, like Madame Blavatsky talks about the hidden masters.
The ascended masters.
The ascended masters that are basically directing the general force of where the world and it's is going, per se.
Well, I think that he would become one of those masters in succession, right? At least in succession, because he was one of the best of his kind. So
that's what he was already doing. Yeah.
Well, since I got time, I was going to ask, do you guys think of it like how some people think like Tupac is still alive and Elvis is still alive? Do you think that kind of plays into it with it? Because, the influence that they had on people too?
It's interesting because when you look, how you've seen those photos from the Civil War, and it's like Nicolas Cage and it's like John Travolta.
Yep.
It's
like, that's exactly where I'm getting at.
Well, yeah. So it is very interesting to think in those terms, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a doppelganger. There's this show called Evil. It's actually a very good show. I don't know if you guys ever seen it, but it's basically everything that we talk about. It's basically everything that we talk about. Like it's like the occult thing. They're trying to figure out whether it's religion, whether it's scientific, or whether it's something in between it. They have an expert in each realm, so they go through. Yeah, exactly, and they go through, and it's a very good show. In one of the episodes, they was talking about how. And this is interesting because hopefully this will be the first time we have ever talked about it. They're building a program. There was a program on that show where you could look for your doppelganger, somebody that looks like you across the world. So think of Facebook, Twitter, X and all these other social medias where everybody has a picture and the picture is already online.
Nope.
Well, you can go that the program was able for you to find somebody that looked similar like you, and that's
the life
that
they're
person,
living.
and the life that they're living, right?
Yeah.
Whether they was a good person, a
Yes.
bad person, where basically it could be the God and devil, the good and the bad, the evil and all that other stuff, where you can see you may think you're a good person, but then you see somebody that's living a better lifestyle, doing better than you. You're a poor person, but the person that looks like you, exactly like you, is absolutely rich, right?
Or
And there's
vice
been
versa.
television. Or vice versa, exactly.
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
been plenty of shows that talked about this, but this is where science. This is where I was talking about
What was
that.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, go
I
ahead,
was
bro.
gonna say,
No,
there's one movie called what was it called? I think it was directed by the same guy that did Get Out.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, yeah. Us. Was that the movie?
Us?
Or
Yeah, I think you're talking
where
about
they
Us. Yeah,
had
where
like their fucking doppelgangers
yeah,
underground?
that was it. Yeah, that was it. I was just watching that the
It's
other
like
day.
their
Matter of
shadow
fact.
selves that were created when they were children or something, that like they end up coming out and killing them. Because
So-
that's there's theories that's what that could be, is when you shed your shadow self, it forms
So,
To a golem
a-
sort
or
a
something
question-
hopefully,
Yeah,
world
yeah.
somewhere.
a question to all of you. So, how about the notion that there is only a limited, although it seems almost unlimited,
yeah.
there is only a limited uh, uh,
Template.
range of templates, right?
Yes. Yes.
And the templates can only have certain variations that increases the differences, but not by that much, right? So could that be the case? Instead of we talking about, oh, it's a coincidence, it looks exactly like me. No, it's because there is so many people at certain points when
Right.
the population reaches certain numbers.
Right.
I don't believe in overpopulation, okay? Before someone thinks that I do. I think there's a lot of people in certain concentrated points, but we are far from being overpopulated. We never reach there because genetics doesn't allow it.
Right.
But might be because there is only a certain number of templates, instead of because it's a coincidence that we look alike. It's because of a technical issue
Right. With the possibilities of the
of life
multiplicity
itself.
of what DNA is.
Because look at the other animals.
Yeah.
It's easy to get equal animals. Even in that, we are completely different from the rest of the animal kingdom.
Oh yeah.
So
Still can't find the missing link.
they will never find it, because one thing is a monkey, another thing is a genetically modified hybrid. So
Did you have anything else on him, Ricardo?
so after his death,
There's one thing I did want to mention just real quick. He was kind of influential in theosophy. Blavatsky, the founder of the Theosophical.
That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, she said the Count of Saint Germain was the greatest Oriental adept Europe has seen during the last centuries. She included Saint Germain among her masters of wisdom, enlightened beings guiding humanity. Theosophists speculated that Saint Germain never died but ascended to a higher plane. They sometimes call him Master Rakaxi or some shit like that, or Master R. I wanted to read this when Headless was here, connecting him to the Hungarian princely line.
Oh shit, dude! I think she wore a cape because of him, because he wore a cape. I'm pretty sure.
Wow,
That makes sense.
From a lot of experiences.
I have more words from Madame Blavatsky.
Go for it.
And now we ask, what shadow of proof is Erain afforded either that Saint Germain was an adventurer, that he meant to play the part of a prodigy, or that he sought to make money out of dupes? Not one single sign is there of his being other than what he seemed, vis-a-vis, a possessor of ample means to support honestly his standing in society, and he claimed to know how to fuse small diamonds into large ones and to transmute metals, and backed his assertions by the possession of apparently boundless wealth and the collection of jewels of rare size and beauty. Are adventurers like this? Do charlatans enjoy the confidence and the admiration of the cleverest statesmen and nobles of Europe for long years, and not even at their death show in one thing that they were undeserving? So this is what I had from her about him. She was completely sure that he was exactly what he claimed to be, a savant at almost all things, including
Right.
alchemy.
Right.
The theosophical literature even styled him the Chohan, if I'm saying that, Kohan of the seventh ray.
Kohan. Yeah.
Yeah, the spiritual overseer of the coming age of Aquarius.
A Kohan is a priest within Judaism.
Yeah, so here's a pimp over there.
Y'all may
I
have
have-
already covered
Somebody
this,
asked
but
if he had a
once
grave.
again-
Do any of you guys know? Oh, I'm sorry, Lisa.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just asking. Somebody asked in the comment section, does he have a grave? Does anybody know of a known gravesite of him or a possible?
Yeah. We just mentioned it. But I can repeat it.
Yeah, I don't know if they got the got it or not. Why you said it?
Let me go to the death.
Lisa, what were you going to say? I was looking for that.
No, just really quickly, because y'all were mentioning that term, talking about the high priest in Judaism. Didn't when they're claimed that he was an Alsatian Jew?
They did. I was reading in
Alsace?
the notes. They did question him as being the wandering Jew, possibly. Maybe that's why.
So Alsace was a point of contention in the First World War. France wanted Alsace back, and Germany also wanted it as well. But it was, and Ricardo, you're European, you know this better than I do, but wasn't that area a high point of contention between France and Germany during World War
I
I?
believe so. Well, at least the stage of many negotiations.
Mhm.
I believe so.
That's it. That was my only contribution. Sorry.
So the people that ask, the church that has the register is the church of Eckernford. So that's where his grave supposedly is, inside the church. There is pictures online of the church. I found them, so it's easy to find. Just put the church where Saint Germain is buried. And
In what
Is
country?
he in homeostasis?
Well,
Like
no one opened the grave, so it's hard to say what if anything is in there, which I doubt.
So, what country is his grave in?
Let me go back.
Sorry.
Guys, we're going to find Saint Germain's grave.
Yeah.
CV's got a little philosopher's stone in his pocket.
Dude. Or if his remains turned into a bunch of just philosopher's stones.
Yeah, Eckernford is in Germany.
Okay. Yep.
Eckernford. Eckernforde. Eckernford in Germany. I was just going before. I don't know if we are long enough. I was just going to show the triangular book that we spoke about. What is this? Share screen is much easier. So window this. Oh, but then I have to share the entire screen. So this is the triangular book that some say he kept but not wrote. Others say that he wrote. So he has a 76 on the cover.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. Yes. And it's a downward facing triangle symbolizing water or the feminine.
The feminine, right.
This is the quotation that I read.
Right.
It was given by the Sapiens Count of Saint Germain to the order of the museum itself. So this is the writing.
Oh yeah, that looks like Atlantean or Hyperborean.
Yeah.
And I was just looking. Actually, Crowley he did actually talk about Saint Germain, and he was well aware of him, and he said he even toyed with the idea of posing as him.
Send this to me, Ricardo. Send this picture to me.
That looks like a mixture of all kinds of languages,
Right?
Arabic, foreign, Judaic,
Yeah.
Greek,
And hieroglyphics almost.
hieroglyphics. Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah.
mixture of all kinds of languages.
Right,
Like
right.
I even seen some cuneiform in there. If I wasn't mistaken, on the
Some
other.
Yeah.
Greek.
You may be
Look,
right.
look at this one here.
Yep.
Star.
Yeah,
It's-
that right there, X marks the spot. Look at all those X. That's the other thing. The X's, a lot of X's. Even within stuff, there's X's. If you look at it, there's an X within an X. It's crazy. This is freaking crazy.
It could be
Ricardo, is
cryptography.
that
It could be
an
coded.
actual photo of the exact writing.
Sorry.
Hey,
I
hold
didn't
up.
get it.
Let me screenshot this and ask ChatGPT what it says real quick.
Nice.
Well, the question about this kind of alphabets is that as we all know, these alchemists,
Right.
they created their own language.
Yes.
So they're very hard to crack because they are not a generally used system. It's
Right.
unique.
It's
The
coded.
reason that I say this is because it looks like mirror script.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it is mirror script, that's something totally different.
I'm about to get my money's worth out of this damn $20 a month for ChatGPT because I'm definitely going to ask it.
Yeah, it looks it.
And the
I bet you-
sigils.
That's
There's
fascinating.
most
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
Adepts,
So that's-
most of the adepts are into the mirror script.
Yeah.
Baseball field.
That's the star Melchizedek up at the top.
You're right, dude. Go back up.
And you got the horns up and the horns down. That's kind of Mithraic.
Yeah, very Zoroastrian.
Yeah,
This
sitting on the
right
moon.
here, I'm sorry. I know I'm
Yep,
obsessed
yep.
with fucking Twin Peaks, but it looks like the sign for Judy
Ah,
that's on the ring that they put on in the movie, and it takes them to the
Okay.
Black Lodge.
Oh shit! Yeah,
It does, dude. It looks
Yo,
like
that's
Judy.
the ring. Holy fuck!
The one on the left, especially, if you were to
Yeah, that's
put it the
upside
other
down.
way.
Actually, looks
Yeah.
better, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
mm.
So
I was going to
Well,
say,
then
dude, send me
that-
this image, Ricardo.
Is
yeah, send me this too. Send me this too, bro. Hey,
Put it in the
ChatGPT.
on
I'll
ChatGPT
put
said.
this in the group. Don't worry.
that.
yeah.
What did it say?
ChatGPT said that it's an occult abracadabra amulet written in a ceremonial cipher alphabet, the Theban or Honoran style. It's laid out in the classic inverted triangle charm. You write abracadabra on the first line, then drop the first letter each, and then you go all the way down to the next letter, I guess you can say. So that's what
much wider than your standard abracadabra.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, also
Yeah.
there's more symbols in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think.
Yeah, I don't even think it really knew. I think it was just trying to give me some
Well, it's
bullshit.
as I speak, I create.
It does
Well,
look.
based off what it's got, that's probably all it can tell you. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad guess.
Yeah.
You have to remember this is a person that spoke fluently like 20
Yeah.
languages.
Right.
And
Yeah,
wrote
Yeah, that's
up-
why I said that it's a mixture of different languages
Yeah.
because of the simple fact of you can look at it and tell that it's different languages, but it's also a pictographic type also, which you can fit enough information in just that triangle by itself.
And with
yes,
that
Tyrone,
much,
but he was clever enough to even, for
Yeah.
instance, in here you see an S, but he could, on his own memory, the S represents the letter that he chose, so and the L another, and this another, and so on. So it's very hard to crack. Very hard to crack.
right.
Yeah, it could be. It's probably ciphered, obviously.
I assure you, if this could be cracked, it had been.
Ah.
No, that looks like something out of Agrippa's books. You know, all those different
Yeah,
languages
yeah.
they got there.
Right.
It's not that the letters are unknown, because they are known, most of them. Is that because we don't know what they mean? And then there is no spaces.
Right.
You don't know where it starts, where it ends, if it is to be read like this or read like this. or read from up to bottom to up, or up down. It's extremely complicated. I was just seeing if there is any more drawings. No, I think we'll reach the end of the book. Yes.
Nice.
That is crazy.
That was awesome.
Look at
Well,
that.
hey, what's that? Is that like, was that like the glossary or index? Go back. Was that like the index?
A bit of a cipher. Yeah.
It is a cipher.
No, this is.
Oh yeah, it is. It is the cipher. It's short of.
Maybe it is.
No, it is. That's telling you what everything is.
Yo, send
Oh shit! Got me.
And then
Yeah.
is it in English? Is it in
Perfect.
French? Is it in? That's interesting.
Send it in the Rumble, right?
I didn't remember that I had this.
Oh yeah, that definitely is the cipher right there. That's telling you everything. What it means? Like if you look at the first one, A, it's what it tells you. The 6-pointed star.
The 6-pointed star. Yeah.
Yep. See. So everything with the 6-pointed star is an A. You know. Yeah. So oh hell yeah, man. I'm about to break this shit down.
Wow, dude. Yeah. Post that in the group chat.
Hey, I just want to give a 10-minute to 2-hour show. Just want to let you know, Nick. I don't know. I know you're you on the 2-hour thing.
Wrap up.
Yeah.
There's this book.
Oh, this is the guy that decoded it.
Ah.
Oh shit, we don't found out. Oh yeah. Hey, make sure you send me that.
Well, you know, when I look into a subject, I do
Hey,
grab
Nick,
everything
did
I
you
can
see-
find. Sometimes
did you
I
see
don't
the
watch
three
it
dots?
all.
The 3 dots in the triangle.
Yep.
Hey, there's a line that says right here. It says there follows the cipher script written in gold, blue, and red. I want to say it's go back up. You scroll down on me.
Sorry.
Oh shit, where was it? Okay, yeah. So it's not 1, 2, 3. It's the 4th paragraph. There follows the cipher script.
Yeah, written in gold, blue, and red. A key to the cipher is supplied, and this includes a list of the names of the demons that are invoked.
Oh man, I'm about to get on it, boy. You don't hook me up, man.
Usually in manuscripts of this time, the names of the demons are never transliterated. These manuscripts come from the famous, I don't know what that is, something of occult.
So are these the barbarous names that they speak of?
Well, it has
Yep, that's what it
here.
says right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah,
there you go. There you go. And those you can't. Well, that's the thing. You can write them down, but you have to learn how to enunciate them in order for them to work.
Yeah, that's like the Book of Dead and all those and the what is the other one? The Emerald Tablets that some people say. If you read it, it's about 70 sometimes. If you read it 70 times and pronounce the words correctly, that something magical is supposed to happen to you.
Well, it'll put you into a state of samadhi if you read the full Emerald Tablets.
You got to do it 70 times though. I think it's specifically like 70 sometimes. Well, I think I'm on like 40 or 50. I'm on like 43 right now.
But it becomes very much a mantra then at that point. You know what I mean?
This is also interesting. The name of Count of Saint-Germain is familiar to all students of magic and the occult arts. It is well known that he came to Paris at the time of Louis XV and founded in that city a lodge of occult mancery, the forerunner of similar lodges founded later by his friend and pupil Cagliostro. That is.
And these Paris lodges, when you're looking at this time period, they were very occult. They were experimenting with a lot of these different Mesopotamian, Canaanite, kind of Babylonian type magic.
Necronomicon.
H.P. Lovecraft.
50 Names of Marduk and all that stuff, dude. Yeah.
I was just about to say that, yo, Jules, the 50 Names of Marduk. The one that took
my wife made me throw my Necronomicon away. Probably better off for it. But, we got kids,
I guess that was interesting. That was interesting.
It was very interesting.
Wow, book.
So that led to some good little.
What's the name of this book, Ricardo?
This is
I think he's
called
in the group chat.
Saint Germain Angular Book, or the Triangle Book.
Okay.
If you have the PDF, Ricardo,
I have.
So
I
the other
took these
thing,
scans from the book.
Oh,
now he set up a lodge of masonry. The other thing we have to notice here is that the shape of the triangle with the white background, it emulates the Masonic apron as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, when I saw that, or an envelope. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought that. I was like, oh, there's the Masonic apron. I think we'll wrap it up here if you guys don't mind, because I know Jules has got to get going. So
I just have to set up the stream for the morning.
yeah.
That was
Ricardo,
great.
thank you very much, man. I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you, Ricardo.
It's awesome.
Well,
Thank you, Nick.
I just hope I didn't overlap too much over what you were going to say.
No, it's perfect. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And that was a nice ending with the cipher. Wow.
I like that. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Book, so.
Well, it was all on the script. Keep the best for the end of the show.
Nice.
Right? I like it. As we wrap it up, I'll have everybody plug their show again. Jules, let everybody know what's going on and where they can find all your amazing work, please.
Thank you, Nick, for hosting this tonight. This is actually when I first started my show 2 years ago. This was one of the first topics that I wanted to cover. I never got around to it because I didn't know anybody who could talk about it. So thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Headless. All you guys. This was a great show. If y'all want to find me, you can follow me on X at GrayPilledPod. YouTube, Rumble. I was going to say, I don't know. I think we're doing the esoteric book review in the morning on our Patreon, patreon.com/GreatPillPodcast. And then I don't know if I'm doing another show tomorrow. I may be able to make the one that we're doing, but if not, I think I'm going to try to schedule one Sunday for our, I think me and Headless are going to do the Green Man. And Nick, yeah, I'll definitely let you know about that. And then for all my patrons, Twin Peaks Sunday night. We'll do that Sunday night. I had dental surgery, so my mouth will feel better by then. But yeah, awesome show. Thank you guys for having me again.
Appreciate
Love
it.
being a part of these.
Thank you for the idea.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Just
Anytime. I have the whole list, like I said.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Robbie Marks, please let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, I wanted to say thanks for having me on. It's always great to hang out and talk about this stuff. And it's so great how everyone has something so prescient to say as the conversation is moving, and we're all kind of just contributing to this this blossoming of this beautiful thing. But yeah, I'm R Marks, artist illustrator. If you want to find my other stuff, you can go to my Linktree, which is Linktree R Marks, RMARX, and that'll pull up everything for you. So thanks for everything.
Of course. Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate you coming here, man.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyrone, what is going on, sir? Please let everybody know what is up.
Hey, I appreciate it 100%. I'm about to do some dig diving in the next few hours. Thank you for the presentation from both you, Ricardo, and Nick. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody in here. You can find everything on me on my website, rebirthoftheword.com, and you can get my book, Journey Through the Origins of History, on Amazon, which went to a bestseller. Appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you for making it.
Nice.
And Ricardo, please, sir.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and to all of you for another wonderful conversation. And again, if people can find me on X on Ricardo Calvario 1, as it is in the screen. I forgot to plug in the great show Universe Unveiled that I suggest everyone to go and check on. And the Institute for Natural Philosophy, of course, that you can find at institutefornaturalphilosophy.org. And that's all. Thank you very much for having me, Nick.
Of course. Thank you. I really appreciate everything again, like you said, that you brought to the show. I appreciate it. And last but not least, Lisa, what is going on? How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Sorry I had to dip out for a while. My cat threw up. So anyway, but I will be hearing the replay because, Ricardo, I think you did an extensive work on Saint Germain, and I am very interested in this topic, especially how he kind of dips into some of the most important European moments in history. And so, thank you for your presentation. It was very extensive and very thorough. So I'm very much looking forward to
thank you.
the replay. And Robbie, Jules, and Tyrone, y'all always contribute so much. So thank you for having me. And Headless as well, who is not here with us.
He had to dip out early. Hey guys, I really wanted to plug something real fast. My wife, she started up her podcast, well, the idea for it a little less than a year ago. We did a few episodes. She's been on a bunch of my live streams with me. She loves these kind of conversations. She just dropped her first episode, Babe Lawn Podcast. You can find it on Rumble and YouTube. And she has episode 2 that she's about to drop here in a couple days. So it's really, really good shit.
Yeah, put the
really,
link on the group.
Really
so we can share it.
philosophical stuff.
How is that spelled?
Babylon, Babelon, like Babylon, like
Yeah.
Babylon, but Babylon.
Mhm.
She's hot, dude. My wife's hot. What can I say? It's our 12-year anniversary tomorrow. So
Nice.
yeah, man.
Congratulations.
Unfortunately, I just had dental surgery, so I'm a hot mess. I don't think I can be sexy at all for her. So I don't know.
Well, best of luck with
All right.
that.
Yeah.
It'll still be a fun day. We'll still have a good time. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning, though, man. This was a great show tonight.
Sure. I forgot. Did we Lisa, did you wrap everything up? Were you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. I couldn't remember where we left off, actually. I'm so sorry. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate that. Everybody in the chat, that's what's up. There was a lot of people here. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of stuff being said in there. That's what's up. I can see both ends. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I appreciate everybody coming on to the show. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.